Hey everybody, it's Tina with Worth a Look. I am Worth a Look on Poshmark, and it's all one word put together. I am Worth a underscore look on Instagram, and I'm Worth a Look 2016 all together on eBay. So if you're not my friend on any of those platforms, I would love for you to go and follow me, tag along on my journey. If you find anything that you love, I'll make you a great deal. And if I find something that you have that I love, maybe you can make me a great deal too. So one of the things I wanted to share today are the 5 things that I've learned this year. 2018 was a big year for me. I sort of joined Poshmark, I think it was October of 2017. And I basically was just trying to get rid of a few things, didn't really take it serious as reselling. I was just, putting some things up there to see if anybody wanted them. And surprisingly, I sold some things and I began to sort of get more and more interested. So I really did not take this platform seriously until about around, I guess, February, March of 2018. And I became highly active and started becoming productive, more and more productive, I guess around April. So really you would consider me to be a newbie, not even really having a year under my belt. But one of the things that's an advantage for me, at least I seem to think that it is I do understand business. I don't know everything there is to know about reselling, but I really do understand a lot about business and how people spend their money and the behaviors and the patterns of those kinds of things. I've done a lot of work in my career life, and so I'm a good learner, and I try to pay attention to those kinds of things and then adapt my business, based on those factors. So I wanted to share with you the top 5 things that I've learned this year while being on Poshmark. And then, recently, I think it was the end of November, maybe the 1st of December, I joined eBay, because there's pennies out there and pennies turn into dollars, and I want to capture every revenue stream that I possibly can. I've got a few things on Mercari and I've made a couple of sales. I just haven't been very active with Mercari, but I'm going to try to up my game there. There's money to be made there as well. And I'm in the process of getting a thread up package to be sent out so that I can see what I have that they might want to accept and sort of how that works. So, I'm trying to just like branch out in many different territories and see how they work and find out where it's best for my energy and my time to be spent so that I'm capturing the greatest value and hopefully making money from lots of different resources. One of the things I've learned in my career, and studied this when I was working on my master's degree, diversification is a huge part of your success. If you have all of your money tied up into one platform and then for some reason that platform goes flat, or you end up having an issue with the technology, or God forbid one of them sell out and things drastically change, then there's your entire income flow. So you want to be diversified as much as you can, as long as that diversification is making you money. So I would encourage everyone, and I'm not trying to take away from everybody, because I will tell you that my heart belongs to Poshmark. If I could never sell on any other platform and only sold on Poshmark, that would be my happy place. Those people are amazing. I've made some of the best friends I've ever made. They truly are good people, and I absolutely love Poshmark. And I think, long term, my goal is to make more and more money on that platform. But for now, I have to try to make as much money as I can and be as diversified as I possibly can and capture, as I say it, all the pennies. Every penny turns into a dollar if you get 100 of them. So keep grabbing every opportunity you can to make money. That's in your best interest, is in the best interest of your future and your family's future. Now, I've had a lot of people tell me that they don't like eBay for a lot of different reasons, and they had me scared to death to do eBay. And it took a couple of very dear friends of mine to encourage me to take the leap. And now that I have, I've actually made more money on eBay in 1 month than I've made on other platforms with 2 months put together. And that's just being honest with you. So there's money to be made. It's a little bit more work. It's a bigger challenge for me because it's a new platform and I'm learning. But hey, I don't mind to learn as long as learning's making me money. And I bet that you don't mind to learn as long as learning is making you money. So I'm going to go ahead and get with the 5 things that I've learned this year. And I'm going to start with 5 and go down to number 1. And 1 will be the one that I think was my biggest lesson for this year and the thing that I learned the most from. But I want to ask you all to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't. Hit that button down below, and there's a subscribe button, and beside of the subscribe button is a little bell, and if you'll tap that bell every time I go live, it'll let you know, and hopefully you would want to follow this journey with me, and I hope that I'm bringing value to you that you'll want to continue learning from. So here we go. So one of the things that I learned this year being on the reselling value is photos are everything. If you are not taking good photos, up your game. I think that as someone who can say it the best way I know how to say it, is we buy visually before we spend our money. If I see someone selling a nightgown and they literally have it on, propped up on their couch next to their boyfriend, I'm not buying that shit. It ain't gonna happen because there's an uncomfortable feeling about it. So think about what you're selling and how you're selling it and what people are seeing when they're buying it. We buy with our eyes. If you go into a department store and the department store is trashy and crowded and looks dingy and yucky, you're probably not going to want to spend top dollar in that store because you feel like it's just not worth it. And people, look at that, worth it, worth a look, haha. But people do the same thing when they're looking at your products online. For those of us that are in the reselling world, we see it strictly from a reselling point of view. But we have to think about our business from an online buying perspective. When you think about Amazon and Jeff Bezos and other huge platforms where people buy online all the time, you do not go to those marketplaces and look at products and see an absolute trash scene and expect that to be sold. Now, with that being said, everybody has their own style and everybody has the thing that works best for them, and whatever works for you, I encourage you to do that because it's important for you to make money and to continue to grow. But I will tell you that from experience and things that I've learned myself, your photographs are the difference between making it and breaking it. So by all means, do the best you can to put the best photos out that you know how to put out so that people will want to buy your product. Please forgive me. My allergies are killing me. I live in the South and I have terrible allergies, and so forgive the sniffles. The 4th thing that I've learned is checking comps and know what things cost. I have a lot of vintage items and a lot of sort of mid-range luxury items that I invested in, and a friend of mine also has donated some things to me that she invested in her career. She's an attorney. She's one of my best friends in the entire world, and between the two of us, you know, we've amassed quite a lot of clothing that would be considered designer luxury, sort of a mid-range product. And so with that, I didn't understand how to price my products. And so I did start out on the high end, or maybe higher than people were willing to pay for it, because it costs so much on the front end, and you can't think like that. It doesn't matter what you've paid for it. If someone's not willing to buy it for that price, it doesn't matter. So you have to take that personal side away and don't worry about what you paid for it, because what you invested in it matters not if you can't sell it. So if you go and you pay up for an item and you can't move that item because you're just basically at a break even, then that's the way it goes, which leads me to number 3. If you have a high-end item that you did pay up for, or you know the value of that item, let's say you only purchased it for $10, or maybe even someone gave it to you and you know that it probably has, you know, a comparable value, a resale value of $300 or $500 or $1,000, whatever it would be. You have to realize that those customers that are coming to buy products at that price point have the money to do it. There's plenty of people out there that spending $1,000 on a purse or a jacket or a pair of shoes is nothing. But when those people come to shop with you, they are few and far between. And they're going to see your product visually before they're going to give you their money. So if you've got those high-end products that really are top dollar, and make sure that you have a photo and a description that sells that product, because people buy from you the same way they buy from any other online retailer, whether it's Nordstrom or Saks Fifth Avenue or Neiman Marcus or wherever they're purchasing their products. They buy what they see and what they feel is the best value based on lots of variables. But I promise you, it's the photograph that seals the deal first. So think about that and be prepared for a high-end item to sometimes sit there for a year. One of the things that I've learned, and I learned this sort of by trial and error, if you have an item that's high-end and it's worth several $100s and you really don't want to sell it for less than that, if it goes stale, even if you've had 50 or 60 or 100 people to like it, and they haven't bought it in 3 or 4 months, well, hello, if they didn't buy it and they've liked it all that time, and you've made offers and you've sent, specials to them and they still didn't buy it, well, they're not going to buy it. So in my opinion, you're really not losing anything by deleting that and relisting it. Just move on, because if they wanted it, they would have already bought it. And if they didn't buy it and they come to look at their likes and it's not there, sorry. Somebody is looking for that, and there's an algorithm that I'm convinced that items that are listed new and fresh items get most attention, more so than things that have been sitting there for the longest amount of time. And I've seen way too many people on Posh talk about this and how their success has changed based on relisting products. So I know that I've been told that it doesn't really affect the algorithm, or it doesn't really affect how you sell things, and you don't want to lose those likers. But hey, I can say from my own personal experience, it has moved products for me. So I can only speak from my experience, and I would encourage you, if it hasn't done anything within 3 or 4 months, to relist that item and see if it sells. It doesn't hurt. And if it doesn't work for you, you don't have to do it. But I personally would encourage you to try that. So the second thing would be a community of people. I think that's one of the reasons why I love Poshmark so much, because it's a community and you feel connected. And when you go to Posh Fest, which was electric and fun and exciting, and I cannot wait for this year to come back around. I'm so excited to see my friends. I can't wait to go back and see. I'm absolutely crazy about Leanne, and there's Amanda and Audielle, and there's so many that I absolutely adore. And the thing about those people, even the CEO, Manish, excuse me, and Tracy's son, they are the leaders and the people who helped found that company. And they personally will talk to you. They personally will invest their time to spend with you. And I don't know about a lot of other places, but how often do you see a company that's a rising superstar, and the people who actually developed, made it, dreamed it, brought it to life will literally stand amongst the people and become friends, take pictures, talk to you, get to know you. Posh is one of a kind, and it really holds a very dear place in my heart. And with that being said, surround yourself with like-minded people. It is so important to have people who have your best interest at heart, and you have their best interest at heart. And sometimes you have to be willing to listen to people give you some honest truth, and sometimes it may be things you don't want to hear. But if you ask somebody, why do you think I'm not selling this? Please understand that nobody's here to criticize you or to make you feel like what they're saying is a criticism. It's actually much more than that. It's people who have been successful. It's those people who have been on the platform for years and sort of really do understand what it means for you to sell that product. And so if they say, well, your price point's not right, or I would change your description, or I would take a different photograph of that because of XYZ, then I would encourage you to look at it as someone giving you advice because they care about you and they want the best for you. And if that doesn't work for you, that's okay. But please don't ask for advice if you're not willing to listen. I mean, I know myself, I'm brutally honest. Please don't ask me for advice if you don't want for me to be brutally honest. I can't lie to you. I just don't have it in me. And but I'll do my best to help you, but it may not be what you want to hear. And I think sometimes when we are in this journey, we think everything should feel good all the time, should look good all the time, and everybody should just be patting us on the back. And I think 95, 96% of the time, that's what we're doing. But occasionally things get tough, or occasionally things are going to happen, and you're going to need somebody to try to build you up. And building you up, maybe that they're giving you some answers that you really didn't want to hear, but accept them anyway. And if you have to pray about it, if you have to think about it, whatever you have to do to process that information, but realize that 99% of us, 99.9% of us that put ourselves out there and are trying to give you content and do our best to help you, it's because that's really what we're trying to do, is to help you. I've made some amazing friends along this journey. I cannot even begin to tell you what they've meant to me. In my former corporate world, oh gosh, I know tons of people, and tons of really great people that I could call today, and I know they would be there for me. But when you're in a corporate career, it's very, very hard to be with a company that really does have your best interest at heart. It's all, what are you going to do for me now? It doesn't matter what you did last year. It doesn't matter what your last quarter was. It doesn't matter how great things are going. It's always, what are you going to do for me next? How do you raise that bar? And in this particular career that I've taken on, I found that people are not that way. Nobody's sitting here saying, what are you going to do for me now? Or why didn't you do this? Or, any of that. I feel so loved and appreciated and respected. And Lynn Simmons, for instance, I was struggling with how to change my name on my Instagram account because it made no sense and it didn't match my Posh, and I didn't know how to do it. And so she literally sent me a message and said, send me your phone number. And she called me. And we have become the best of friends. I mean, I cannot even begin to tell you how amazing our friendship is. She's getting married in May, and I'm going to be there for the wedding. I've went to her house and, spent some time with her. She is truly, one of the best friends I've ever had. And, I've connected with so many people. And I'll mention, not because I'm of any notoriety, because it doesn't matter. That's not why I'm doing it. But you take someone like Nicole State, who has been at this for a long time, who has helped many of us learn from things that she's done from her journey. I mean, Nicole is just a precious soul. And I absolutely, I love the lady. She is genuine. She is kind. She does everything in her power to help people. And I wish that people could sometimes take away a little bit of the edge that I have sort of heard that people have where she's concerned. Why would anybody go through such great lengths to help other people and do it for years if that's not how their heart ticked? So think about that. Because none of us are doing this because, we just want to be on YouTube. I mean, seriously, this makes me so nervous sometimes. I can't even hardly explain how nervous it makes me. Every time after I do a YouTube, I'm just practically sick at my stomach. So trust me, I'm only doing this because I want to find a way to help people in this journey with everything they want to learn that I know how to help you with. And I'm going to mention Hazel Hearts Vintage. Kayla is an absolute dream of a friend. And she has a daughter named Hazel. That's where her account name comes from. Now see, look at me, I'm getting all weepy. But Hazel and I have become really close. And I love kids. I don't have any children. And not children, any grandchildren. And I've sort of pseudo-adopted Hazel, and there's a personal commitment I have to that child, and I feel so attached. I love them so much, and I'm so grateful that she lets me be part of Hazel's life. It's a true blessing to me, and those kind of friendships, trust me, you don't find them every day, and you don't find a lot of people in this world who are willing to love you that way. So I'm grateful. So please, please understand my number two thing. It's almost my number one. is to build relationships that matter and invest in those relationships, because what you give, you will receive. I fully believe that with all my heart. And if you're not receiving it, then stop, for the love of Jesus. Who wants to keep giving to people that don't give back? That tells you that it's a toxic relationship. Do not invest your energy in people who suck the life out of you and give you nothing back, because 9 times out of 10, that will never change. So I encourage you just to keep moving on. My very biggest lesson that I've learned this year, and it's my number one, is to stop. Please stop comparing yourself to other people. I have felt defeated for almost a year because I would look at what other people were doing and think, why am I not doing that? I'm doing all of this work. I'm doing what they say to do, and it's not working for me. You know, I would go and try my hardest to put out content, or not content, but to put out photographs and, you know, post things and everything that people told me to do, or that I would read to do, and it didn't work. It just didn't work for me. And I constantly felt like, I'm never going to make it. Why am I the one that does everything that such and such does, and I'm still not successful? Why is it that I have this many products out there and I'm not moving anything? You know, I would just about jump up and down if I sold one item to process and ship out. And then, you know, you realize, and I will tell you, when I was at Posh Fest, that was probably a defining moment for me. Leanne actually sat down with me at a round table where she was leading a group of people, and she literally looked me in the eye and she said, Tina, you're doing great. You know, just keep up the work. Just keep listing and keep sharing, and it'll happen. Don't try to compare yourself to other people, because no one can do what you do and no one has what you have. And I had to really process that in my head. But because she is part of Poshmark, and because, you know, if I'm successful, her company's successful, it's sort of a win-win all the way around. Even though other people had told me that, for some reason it resonated with me so much more when I heard it from Leanne. And I think it's because, you know, she has nothing to lose by telling me the truth, and I knew that it was coming from her heart. Not to say that other people, what they shared with me wasn't from their heart. It's just there was a sense that I got of her goodness and her kindness. So Posh is just, man, good stuff. So I really did work at pushing that aside. Now, I'm not telling you that every day is peaches and cream, and that sometimes I don't look at someone else and think, you know, I tried to do that and it didn't work for me, because, you know, we all have those moments. But for the most part, I'm doing me. I'm selling my stuff. I'm doing the best I can. I've decreased prices like crazy. I'm selling stuff like crazy. I am blessed beyond my mess. I've started doing Facebook Lives, YouTube Lives, Instagram Lives. And if people say they want it, baby, I'm shipping it out. And I don't care how I get rid of these products, and I don't care how I make the money, as long as I'm doing it morally, ethically, and with the right attitude. And as long as I'm selling products that I know are of value and are worthy of sending to someone else, then I have a good heart about it. So this is welcome back to 2019. I'm so glad that you have watched this video with me. If you liked it, please hit the like button. I appreciate you all so much for coming along this journey with me. And I intend to have another video up this weekend of some goals that I have for 2019. And I'm going to try to do my top 5 goals and discuss why I have those goals and what I intend to do with them. So that may give you a little bit of insight that would go a little bit along with the things that I'm talking about now. I wish you all the best. Love you so much. I will see you soon. Have a great and wonderful day.